Hereford manager Peter Beadle, just how good does that feel to have won 3 titles back to back?
Yeah, it's just it's a proud day for everybody, certainly for me as the manager of the club. But like Steve just said there, we've always set our standards and our bar very high, and we wouldn't say we expect nothing less, but we expect to be competitive and competing. But I think the biggest thing for me overseeing the whole season is that we've had, for me, probably one of the most outstanding seasons that this club could ever have had or would ever have in the future, in the fact that we've had the trophy run, the FA Cup run, the last team, the non-league team in the FA Cup, and then to be so many games behind again. And then obviously again you look at the league table, and I've been through the archives, and there's never been more than 2 teams over the last 6 years that have been over 90 points. They've had 2 teams every year that have been 90 or thereabouts. Chippenham won it with 103 last year. Leamington were about 91. You've got this year, you've got 5 teams all in the 90s now. So for us to be on top of that pile with 104 points is phenomenal. It really is.
How do you personally manage to get these players to go through? It's like a never give it up,
No,
right to the death. How do you do it?
And because we set our standards high, we prepare as best we can. We take excuses away. I believe that in my staff, I've got as good a staff as you can get. Obviously, Steve's a phenomenal coach, but he's also a great motivator, great tactician. Myself, I consider myself as a reasonable coach, but we recruit extremely well. I think there's not been many players we've brought in that have not really worked out at that particular time. We motivate, we set standards, and unfortunately there is no getting away from them standards. And if people drop below them, doesn't matter who you are, you either leave the club or you don't play. Simple as that. And I think with that added to the other 2 backroom staff, Johnny and Rog, and Reese as well. We forget Reese sometimes because he does a phenomenal job with our keepers, who again, he looked sharp tonight. I've got I couldn't get a staff better than what I've got, and I expect every single player that comes into the club to, they know what's expected of them when they come in, and the basics is that when you put a shirt on and when you train, you give me everything you've got every time you do that. And if you give me that every time you do it, then eventually, hopefully, the quality of the players we have will eventually shine through, and that's been the case there. It's been no coincidence that we've been the most consistent team again this season. You look at some of the points we've dropped. Some of them are disappointing, but they've been after big games and things like that. But for the main part, to lose 5 and draw 5 out of 43 games is incredible, and that's the standards we set, and that's what we work to, and we have a never say die attitude, as we've seen with games not from just this year, last year and the year before, Northley last year and Rochester the year before that, and like I said, and that doesn't happen by accident. That happens because I've got a staff and myself who motivate players, and we expect them to give every ounce of everything they've got every time they walk on the pitch, and they do that. And that's why the supporters are as good as they are to get behind the players, and like I said, they were tonight. So we just hopefully will keep going through now, and we'll enjoy this. And like I said, it's been so far for me, it's probably been the most phenomenal season I could have imagined.
Quickly on to tonight's game, about the penalty. What did you make of it from where you were? Was it a clear trip?
Oh, he's definitely made contact. I think Jennison it was the same on Saturday. He made contact. I think when you make contact in the box, it's a penalty. So from where I was, it looked like it was. He certainly made contact. So, and fortunately, we managed to put this one away today.
And did Rob Purdy take charge and said, "I'm going to take this penalty," or had you already made?
No. We again, things like that, we leave the players to that. That's if they're brave enough to step up and take it, and that's why there was nothing said to Mike on Saturday when he missed his, because it's what happens. Sometimes you score, sometimes you miss, and today, fortunately for us, he scored. And like I said, and the players played a game tonight on a pitch that they managed the game superbly. We never really looked under a huge amount of threat, apart from when they were bombing balls in the box because they're such a big side. But we were fairly comfortable, and we've just said again now. I think that's something like eight clean sheets in the last 9 clean sheets in the last 10, 11 games, and that's a phenomenal record on its own. So like I said, and that's all about standards. And I've just said to them there, as much as I'm so proud of them and what they've achieved now, is I want 114 points, and that's what I want, and that's what I expect to get.
I don't think you can get 114.
113, sorry. Well, I
But
might
you
want
like
114. If I want 114, I want 114. 113, whatever the tally is we can get is what I expect. I expect us to. Obviously, we've got our part to play in the rest of the playoffs. We're obviously playing Kettering on Saturday, so we've got a part to play. It's only right that we go about it in the right manner. And then obviously we've got the 2 last away games to finish the season off. But I don't want them to. I want them to enjoy it and savour it and remove the shackles of now we know we're over the line. They can play with even more freedom. But I still want us to be focused and win them last 3 games.
Thanks for your time.
No problem.
Well done.
Thank you. Peter, have we any idea which level we'll be in next season?